Hello students, welcome to CETL videos. This is the second session of uh, Python file handling. In this session, we'll cover about the file operations. So this session includes the different operations on files. We'll more focused on the read function, which can be done by inbuilt functions like read lines methods, and we will also cover some miscellaneous inbuilt functions that can be used in files. Again, you can study more about all these content through these references. Now let's get started with reading of files. So reading of file means whatever the content is there inside the file, you want to read that content. Again, we are here focusing on the text file first. Then we'll study, in next session, we'll study about reading the binary files. So as I have told you, we are using an inbuilt function which is called f1 dot read. So you know that f1 is the file handle object of a file which is opened with the open function. Okay. And read is the inbuilt function that is used to read the bytes, or you can say that the content in the form of bytes from the files. Okay. So in this session, we will see the hands-on of the reading a file using Python. So let's get started. So for that purpose, we need a file, any file. So I have created an abc.txt file. I can show you here. This is the file which I have created on my desktop, that is abc.txt file, and this is the content. So you know that this is the text file because the content inside that file you can open and read that content, or a human readable content. So this is a text file. So we want to read the text file. So now let's get started and try to understand how to read a text file using Python. So here we are on VS Code. First of all, if you want to read a particular file, if you want to read a particular file, you need to open that particular file. As we have already discussed in lecture 1, what is the syntax to open a file? Then we need to write down open inbuilt function. We have to mention the whole syntax or the whole path of a file, because my file is saved on desktop. So I have actually copied a whole path and pasted over here. This is the whole path of a file. Now, for which purpose I want to open a file? I want to open a file for reading purpose. So access mode is read, means R. So this particular file is opened, and this open function returns a file handle object that is actually saved in F1. So this F1 is further used for any kind of function that can be performed on this particular file abc.txt. So right now we are actually talking about reading the content of a file. So I've told you I am going to use a read function. So f1.read is the function because f1 is the object, file object, and you're going to read f1.read. So inside the f1, this abc.txt file is there, and you want to read the content. So if you said read with empty arguments, what it will do? Let's see what it will do. So I want to first, what I will do, I will run it and then check what it will print. So let's see what it will print. So this is Okay, so I run it over here. So you can see, let me show you what is the content inside this file. The content is, hi student, this is our first file to understand the concept of file handling in Python. I'm sure you will enjoy learning Python. Let's dive into the concept of file operation in Python. So let's see what it is printed. So it is said, hi students, this is our first file to understand the concept of file handling in Python. I'm sure you will enjoy learning Python. Let's dive into the concept of file operations in Python. So I hope you understand that when I mention f1.read without any arguments inside it, it will actually read the whole content of the file. Now let's see what's there in this X, means the type of X, so that we can understand what f1 dot read is returning. So we have actually executed it, and it is saying, you can see over here, I hope you can see it. Let's, okay. So when I run these content, what it gives me, it is giving me the output that the type of the X is a string. Okay. And this is the X which I have printed. Okay. I hope you understand how to execute this read function. Now, you know that we can also read particular contents rather than reading the whole file. We can read some bytes, let's say n bytes. Okay, let's say I want to read the first 10 bytes or 20 bytes. So what you have to do, you have to pass the number of arguments or the number of bytes in as an argument inside the read function. So if I say f1.read 20, it means it will actually read the first 20 bytes. Let's see the output. So what it prints, it says, hi students, comma, this is. So this is, till this is the first 20 bytes. That's why this is giving me this output. So you know that the y is actually the string. Whatever the read function is returning, it is returning a string. Okay. And when I print it, it is giving me this output. So if I pass n bytes inside the read argument, it is reading the first n bytes, means the first 20 bytes it is reading. And if I'm not passing any argument inside the read function, it will actually read the whole file. There is one more example of reading the whole file, is that passing -1 inside the read function. So if you pass -1, it reads the whole file. Let's see the output of this. So if I pass -1, so it is giving me the whole content. You can see over here, it is actually giving the whole content. Okay. So if three things I have told you. First one, if you are not going to pass anything inside the read function, then it is reading the whole file. Second, if you're passing -1, then also it reads the whole file. And if you pass the number of bytes, means n bytes, let's say 20, 30, 40, so it will read the first n bytes. Let's say if it is 20, it is going to read the first 20 bytes. So these are the three ways to read a particular file or the content inside the file. So for moving on, we can also read content line by line. Okay, so how to read the content line by line? For that purpose, we have to use either read line method or read lines method. For if I say read line method, so it will read only single line at a time. If I say read lines method, it will read all the lines inside the file which exist in the file, okay, at once. So let's get started. Here, I'm going to tell you the another way to open a file by using with operation, okay. So there is a file which is abc.txt. Now try to understand what I have written over here. So I have said with open. With open means my the syntax of my open function. So with open as F1. So I'm saying we are opening a file as F1, means the file object is F1. Okay. Now I will tell you what is the difference between the previous one, F1 equals to open, and with open. Okay. So if you're going to use directly F1 equals to open, and this syntax, so after using this particular file you need to close the file. I have told you before also, if you open any file you have to close it. That is mandate. Okay, so if you are going to use F1 equals to open, this syntax, you have to close the file, and that is mandate. But if you are using with open as F1, it will automatically close your file after the whole working. It will not ask you to close the file. Okay, I hope you understand the difference between both. In first case, you have to close. In second case, you can skip the close function because it will automatically close your file after the usage. Okay, so with open as F1, and I want to use read line method. So what read line method will do, I can show you with the help of example. Okay, so again, first try to understand the line concept. Okay, so this is my first line, because after that I have I have pressed the enter and then move to the another line. I'm sure you will enjoy learning. This is the second line. And third line is, let's dive into the concept of the file operation in Python. Okay, so these are the three lines. So if I want F1 dot read line, it is giving me, you can see over here, hi student, this is our first file to understand the concept of file handling in Python. Okay, it means it is actually searching for \n. Once it is getting \n, it stop reading it and it gives you the output. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. So F1 dot read line will read the content line by line. So because it is asking for line, so it is reading first line. So that's why the content is hi student. This is our first file to understand the concept of file handling. Okay. So reading each line until it gets \new line. Okay. So let's see the other concepts with this. So here, what I want to show you is that this I have already told you how to print the content. Okay, if I want to check the length of the content, what we can do, we can use a len function. Inside that, we need to pass the content because my whole content is there inside the content variable, and content variable is of string type, as I have told you earlier also. So let's see what it will print. Okay, if I have to do till here also, then I will discuss the concept later on. So you can see right now, I'm going to read line, means I'm going to read first line. Okay, and then I want to print the content. I want to print the length of the content. Okay, so let's see. This is the content, because first is this print content. So it prints the content, it calculates the length, and it prints the length. So printing the length is 90. Okay. So it is printing me that the length is 90. So now if I want to check the position of the cursor, okay, so this is the miscellaneous function. We call it as tell function. Okay. So F1 dot tell, whatever it is returning, I want to print it. Means what is the current position of my cursor after reading the content. So let's see what is the content, what is the position of the cursor. Now it reads the first 90 bytes, and right now it is on the position 91. Okay. So if I want to again read it, let's say if I say const f1 dot read line. Let's see what it will print. Again, read line is there. It means it will search till backslash new line and it will read till that only. Now you can see it is what it is printing. I am sure you will enjoy learning it. It means it is actually reading the second line. Okay. And we have printed it over here. Okay. So I hope you understand that how actually tell function tells you the current state or the current position of the cursor. Now there is a way to actually change the position of a cursor in Python. So there is one more function, we call it as seek function. Seek function is used to change the position of the cursor. So if inside the seek function, we can pass single argument. The value of the single argument can be 0. 0 means you want to change the position and make it the starting position. So if you have to mention it 0, it means the cursor will be there on the first position, 0 position. Now, if I pass over here 1, it is the current location. It keeps the cursor on the current location. And if I pass it as 2, it actually move the cursor to the end of the file. So what I did, just now you have seen that I have read the content using the read line. Then I have printed the length. Then I have asked the system to tell me the state of the cursor. So it told me that the cursor is at 91. And again, we read the line and we have checked that it actually prints the next line. So if I say before printing the next line, if I say seek 0, means I want to change, move the cursor at the first beginning of the file. So I have mentioned F1 seek 0. Now let's see what will be the output. Okay, now you can see first it reads the line and print the content. So the content is this. Then it tells me the length. So length is 90. It prints the current state or the location of of actually the cursor, which is 91. And if I pass f1 dot seek 0, seek 0 means it moved the cursor to the first position, means beginning position. And then I said f1 dot read line, because now the cursor is at beginning position. So again it will read the first line. So that's why it reads the first line, which is this. Okay. Now you can do one more thing. Okay. Let's say I have said 1. So let's see what will be the output. Now it is saying, okay, just give me a minute. First, it is telling me the output 91 and it is printing. I'm sure you will enjoy it using Python. So if I said 2 first, okay, let's say what it will return. And it is returning me students. Okay, 0 position, 1 first position, it is skipped the H, and 2. Okay, let's move to 3 and 4. I hope you understand what is going on. And 5. So actually from the starting means we can change the position. Actually, these are the bytes. Okay, 0 means beginning, 1 means first position, second means second position. So let's see if I say EOF. end of the file. Okay, it's not there. Let's say -1. It's not there. And if I say X, okay. Okay, so what f1.seek will do, f1.seek, if I pass 0, it is sending me at first position. If I pass 1, then first byte, if I pass X, because X is the length of the content, so it actually moves me from the to the last of the file. That's why it is not returning me anything if I call f1.readline. Okay, I hope you understand the concept. Let's move on to the another concept. We call it as read lines. Okay, so we can check it by using the same thing. So what you have to do, you have to actually mention read lines. Okay, so let's see what it is returning. So you can see it is actually returning me, you can here set type, and you can understand what it is returning. So f1 dot read line is returning me a before that, read line is returning me a string. And now, if I say read lines is returning me a list. Okay, a list of all the lines. First line, second line, third line. You can see if I say print, we call it as content. So if I passed this, and you can say this is a list. This is the first line from hi to Python. After that, there is a \n, which means a new line. Then this is the second line. After that, there is a \n. Then this is the third line. Okay. After that, there is no \n because this is the end of the file. Okay. So this is the list which is returned by this read lines function. Okay, so I hope you understand all these three basic functions. So we have covered actually read function with passing the argument inside it, without passing the arguments inside it, and with passing -1 inside it. Then we have covered read line and read lines. We have covered tell function. We have covered seek function. Okay, so these are the function we have covered in this session. I hope you understand the concepts. Thank you for patiently watching. In the next session, we'll cover the write functions. Thank you.